Testing, testing, check one. I don't know if this is working or not, of course. Hey guys, it's Adam Neal off camera again, getting ready for Saturday, July 8th, 7:30 p.m. at the Ritz Studio. 20 years of the Wickets, and we're talking with a guy who we're our memories are failing us, but I'm pretty sure you've been in for at least half of it now.
Yeah,
It's been
probably.
at least a decade.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So this is Patrick Alexander, and you know the deal. 5 questions with Patrick Alexander. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
You got your socks on tight?
Where is it supposed to be?
Question number one. Do you remember the first time seeing the Wickets, or the first impression you had if you did, or when you did see us?
Yeah, I don't remember the date, of course,
Well,
but
yeah.
I think I'd gone to a couple of shows, but the Jake Barrow was still with you guys, and he was moderating the shows I saw. And it, I'm a student of comedy. I like funny things. So when I heard about, oh, there's an improv show, this ought to be cool, and it ought to be, and it was. It really was. Uh, I just saw some guys up there just having fun, and I like fun and I like comedy, and so I went back. Like I said, I may have even gone to 3 shows before we did. You and I did, and I guess we'll get to. Is that another question?
No, no, no.
Okay. You and I did Arsenic and Old Lace together. That was when
Mm-hmm.
I like formally met you, and thoroughly vetted you and found out you were okay. Uh, and around the time, and we had a lot of fun during the play, and around the time it was wrapping up or whatever, you started talking about you know come play some games with us, and I think I did that at a show or two, and I don't know, somehow I was kidnapped in a windowless van, and suddenly I was a wicket.
I remember when we brought you in, Michael Hill was already in because he was already singing your praises, and then
He has a lovely voice.
you were you were um, you were our pinch hitter, our reserve
Yeah,
or whatever for a while. You and Jay both would be at every show.
yeah.
Some shows we'd have you doing stuff, and if the original crew was there, you were still there one way or the other.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's probably closer to 15 of the years, really.
Yeah, that sounds more right. It feels more right.
Thinking about a Wickets show, what is your favorite aspect? What do you like about it? What keeps you coming back to this cacophony of silliness?
Well, I said it before. The fun. That's oversimplification. But since I've watched you ask other people this question, I've had the advantage of being able to think about my answer, at least on that. And I've done plays, uh, and I was told by our good friend J.C. Hester once, in jest, I hope, Patrick, don't ever audition for a dramatic role again. It's a long story, but it was at a rehearsal and I was not being serious. But I really liked comedy, and what I liked about improv, what appealed to me was in drama, which I can't say I've been on the periphery in dramas, but you get no feedback from an audience when you're doing a play in a drama, except for the applause between acts, or if there's a soliloquy that's really good, and you get the same feedback. It's usually applause. Now you might, if it's a sad drama, you might hear sniffles or something like that. You don't know if you're getting to your audience, if you're conveying what you're trying to convey. In comedy, the feedback is instant. You know whether it's working or whether it's not working immediately. And the other part about I like is in almost, I don't like to paint with a broad brush, but with most of humanity, you can say, I know something that will make anyone cry or make them sad. I know something that will make anyone angry. You can insult somebody. You know, there are universal things. Comedy is very personal to people. Different people laugh at different things. And there's a Venn diagram, I think. And when you can get in front of a group of people, with a group of people, and make a group of people laugh, you've created this magic chemistry that I don't think you get from anything else. It's like that guy laughed and that girl laughed and she laughed and he laughed, and they probably have completely different senses of humor. And when they don't laugh, you failed on all points of the Venn diagram. But I digress. That's what appeals to me about it.
That's the most scientific answer to that question
Yeah,
yet.
I was like up all night with an etch a sketch, drawing diagrams and things.
You can draw circles with an etch a sketch?
You can.
That's talent. Thinking of our shows, any one or two favorites stick out in your brain?
Yeah, and I prefaced this when we talked before. I'm not good at remembering details, and it's like Wes said when you talk to him. I've realized when he said that, I realized that it's the case of I'm concentrating so hard in the moment I'm not paying attention. When we played a game or we've done a bit or whatever, and I've moved on. Once we've got the laugh, I've moved on, and I don't remember it whether I did it or somebody else did it. So as far as favorite specific things, I don't know. Favorite shows. No offense to you, but your farewell show when you moved to New York. There's no way to make that sound, but
It was really hopeful.
yeah, we were all fired up. No, when you and Rachel moved to New York for a bit. We had a farewell show, and it was just one of those things. Everybody that could showed up, and it had an electricity to it. The show was funny all the way through, and part of it was emotion too. I'm sure that was great. And second to that, I remember uh, we did a show at Singing River. I think it was the first show we did at Singing River, and it just went really well. I just remember there were a lot of standing room. There were a lot of people there, good audience participation, and what a lot of people don't realize in the audience is they're just as vital as the performers, because if you don't have a good audience, you're not going to have a good show, because the suggestions come from the audience, the energy comes from the audience, and I remember that show because the audience stands out. We've had some really good audiences, but for some reason, I just remember that one.
Well, you kind of answered the last two questions, but I'm going to keep pushing anyways.
Okay.
Is there a favorite character or joke that you have done that it? We're going to broaden it for you. Can you remember anything you've
I'm
done?
not sure I've done anything. Really, when you asked if you could interview, I'm like, for what? Uh, no, like I said, I don't remember. I don't hang on to them. And my rule. I don't repeat. If we would be working out games and things, and something was said funny, and I'm like, well, you'll never hear that again. The audience will never hear that. I just don't. So, and as far as characters, I like to think I can do voices and things, but when we're doing improv, I don't think I do it a lot. Except I have a fallback that's this country bumpkin kind of, the radio joke that was looking at me.
Oh yeah.
Well, I did that voice on that because. And
You don't even want to say the joke.
Yeah, Alex said it. Look it up. This will get more traffic. Yeah. Okay. But I fall back. I like doing Russian accents, but I never do them. So I don't really have a character. I don't think. I fall back to that kind of grumpy redneck because I don't think it's going to offend anybody. Because I don't like to have. I don't think I have mean humor, but and political correctness is ruin humor in that way, and that you're going to offend somebody if you're not careful. So I just try to find something that this can be funny and we can move on. Yeah.
Anything anybody else has done that sticks out in your brain from the years?
See again.
I know.
It's not just me I ignore. I ignore everyone. So I don't want anyone to be offended because it's been said in the other interviews that everybody has their strength. And I can remember being across from each of you and looking you in the face and you saying something and the people laughing. And I'm like, oh, that was funny, whatever it was. It just goes because I'm there to have fun, and the Wickets have been like an extended family for me. We get along well, and I'm just up there having so much fun. I'm not paying specific attention to the details. So this questionnaire was horrible for me. When you said you were going to do this, I'm like, I'm not going to be able, because Alex can encyclopedic. He can give you day and date what he had for breakfast when something's funny, and I'm like, oh yeah, that time that thing happened. But yeah, that's just the way it is.
Any final thoughts or anything you want to say thinking about your 15-ish years and 20 whole years plus of these guys?
Yeah, well, I've survived it. Yeah, it's been a blast, and watching some of these interviews. That's what I told you when I got here. It's made me miss the guys because a lot of the original group has gotten busy and other things, moved on, and is not able to do it as much. And I kind of am in that boat too. But it's been the most pure fun I've had, and it's the weirdest combination of taking no effort and taking tremendous effort. And I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you feel like I think everybody has those days at work where, gee, I don't feel like I did anything,
Mhm.
but gosh, I'm tired.
Yeah, because I would get home, or after a show, my wife, or even before I get home, somebody would, you look like you're tired. Well, I am. Well, you didn't have to prepare. What you just get. Yeah, it's hard to explain when both these brain cells get going, buddy.
Come see Patrick Alexander and his two brain cells.
Maybe 1.5 by then, but we'll try.
Saturday, July 8th, 7:30 p.m. with the Wickets, and on behalf of the fans who actually call you their favorite Wicket, on behalf of my wife who constantly reminds me you're her favorite Wicket, and on behalf of my dog Penny, thanks for everything, Patrick.